Hello, everybody. Welcome to another cast by Tasteless. Thank you for joining me. Today, we've got a Terran versus Terran. This is JYJ versus Rush. If you don't know who these two players are, you don't follow modern StarCraft. These may be the two current, like as of today, strongest Terrans in the entire world. And they're going to be duking it out on a ladder match they played. I believe it was actually this week or just 1 week later. It's going to be on the map Neo-Dark Origin, which makes for a very interesting TvT. I'm looking forward to unpacking this game for you, but first, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like it, do the bell thing, all that stuff, so that way I can get this video out to as many people as possible. This is a map where, and I'll just show you by opening it up, center control is always important in TvT. And let's take a look at the center here now. If you can control your opponent's bridges, let's say that from Rush's perspective, who's in the bottom, you could put tanks out here, and they just can't get out. Getting anything across a bridge is massive. Also, your fourth base would probably go here. You can hit that with tanks. So it makes for a pretty difficult early game TvT, in that you have to make sure you don't lose the advantage of the game, or you're going to be playing from a very difficult spot. Rush is down here. Hold on a sec, guys. I'm going to get the music on here. What are we doing? Sound. I knew something felt weird. All right. There we're going. I'll tell you, I'm not used to solo casting still, and observing at the same time. But I'll get better and better. This was how I started. But this is what I'm going to be doing on this YouTube channel. So, we have both sides going for the barracks and the gas. No, not the gas, because Rush is going to move right down here and make his command center over here. So these are two very different plays. One SCV and gas right now for JYJ. And the SCV scouts this and will confirm that this is going to be an expand build from Rush. I do like the position here for Rush a little bit better, in that it's going to be pretty tough for any pressure to come out here from JYJ. So JYJ just might be playing from behind. He does manage to chase the SCV away, although at this point in time, you can basically assume it's going to be factory play. The question is always, what kind of factory play is that? The command center is nearing completion. And we're going to get the bunker up here. TvT, honestly, in the early days, it used to be such a confusing matchup for me. I think for a lot of people, because it felt so rigid and punishing. But the way it happens now is it's oftentimes this Vulture arms race. Because if you don't get Vultures and your opponent does, then you're going to end up just being able to overwhelm them, almost like you would see in a ZVZ, or even if you see, like, too many Dragoons in a PvP, there's nothing the other Protoss can do. And so what Rush is doing because of that is he's plugged up the entrance here with this barracks. A Vulture can't fit through this little crack over here. And he'll just try to manage this entry point over here. Now, there's a starport being made far out on the map as JYJ is expanding. So I would imagine this is going to be a Vulture drop, basically to circumvent what we already have over here. And with this depot, it's only going to make it more difficult to try to move through. The question is going to be, how exactly will Rush handle the drop when it actually gets in here? You can see we've got a Marine over here, just a spot that nothing comes up from this side of the map. He's pretty much got a nice set of spotting units everywhere to see what's going on. The control tower is going to be added on to the starport, so we'll have dropships soon. He already got spider mines, and so now he's going to be going for Vulture speed. And now the dropship's going to be starting. Back here for Rush. You can see he's just trying to chase this barracks out. The first tank is started. He can skip the Vultures if he makes the one tank. I can't remember. In observer mode, does it show mines? Did I make up that he got mines? It's possible I did. I'm sorry if I did that, guys. So that dropship's almost done. These Vultures will come out here And he should know better than to try to move through that, if he even can with Vultures. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the actual size of units. This barracks is going to be hit into the red, and so it won't be able to be repaired soon. But I think that JYJ is fine with that. Having these Marines come down here is going to be a perfect layup for this drop to come inside of the base. One tank's out. A Wraith is being made as well. If we look from Rush's position, he does not see the Vultures until the last second. They're all unloaded. Here they come now. And he's just going to be one-shotting these SCVs over and over and over. And, you know, a tank, it can beat Vultures, but it doesn't kill things that fast. So he's going to move right through here. Looks like the second Vulture actually stays alive. Remember that a Vulture, it takes 3 shots to kill an SCV, so just having an extra one is huge. And he's going to get the final kill on that SCV, and that should be it. So it's 26 SCVs for Rush, 36 here for JYJ. And I think JYJ set that up really nicely. Another Wraith is coming. Another Vulture gets dropped in here. Let's see here. Are there any extra damaged SCVs? Beautifully done. I mean, you get 2 SCVs with a Vulture, and it's paid for itself, and he's already going to get 3. Rush is hurting right now, but the starport is spotted. JYJ has been banking these Wraiths for a little while now. Back at home, JYJ is just going for... he's actually going to have to get his second barracks here because you can't make more factories until you actually finish, until you have a barracks that's done. It's easy to forget, but it's a real issue in the game if you don't have that. Rush's response to the fact that there were Wraiths being made was to double down on his own Wraiths, to basically overpower JYJ in the long run. JYJ is going to get his factory started. These are late. It's important to remember that even when you see the best players in the world play the game, they're not playing perfectly. The games are still full of flaws and moments where they have to play catch-up and overcome certain unique situations like that. Part of that was because he did bait the barracks down here with the Marines. At the same time, though, he didn't restart it back at home. And so the Wraith accumulation will continue. But the problem with the situation for JYJ is that this starport is basically too far out. And so he's going to come up over here just as the 4th Wraith is out. Now, Cloak is done. Really good maneuvering. He does get the kill. How are we doing on scans here? Oops. Yeah, that's the right scan. Sorry. So he's got at least 3 scans now. Remember that there was no scan upgraded over here. Rush wins that fight as well. If you can ever get in a situation where they don't have a scan, okay, he does another split, but he drops 1 more Wraith. Meanwhile, JYJ is continuing to make Wraiths. I believe he only has 1 out in the game right now. So he's doing some more damage over here. A Wraith can never really fight a Goliath unless you have an insane number of Wraiths, or the Goliath just can't see it. Another scan will allow him to... No! Oh, yes, he does get the kill on that Wraith. Beautifully done. So, 45 SCVs to 49. I think the Rush has done a good job catching up. We're finally seeing the Vulture speed finish now for him as well. And we're going to get back to that moment in the game of who is going to control the center, because they both built up quite a bit. And this is going to be a situation that's going to sculpt the way the rest of this game plays out. So the Wraith goes down. Vultures and tanks are going to move out into the middle of the map. JYJ pushes out. JYJ does navigate over his bridges, and so we're going to have an even fight here. But the unit comps are very different. And it seems like Rush wants to back up. Rush is more interested in trying to deny the starport. JYJ sieges. Is Rush going to be chased back over the bridge? We haven't had any sieging up yet from Rush at all. He lays some mines. He skirts back. 1 tank is in range. He sends the Vultures out to basically soak damage. It's 9 HP and this tank is still alive. He targets down that last tank. Oh, what? I think it actually was targeted onto the Goliath for a second instead. JYJ feeling very confident now. Not a single tank on the map here for Rush. He's got a lot of Wraiths. But, you know, when you have this many Goliaths, even one tank, 3 tanks like that can cover for a push. I don't know. I don't know if Rush can last much longer here. Okay, the Goliaths come down. And, I mean, he's trying to be a nuisance, right? But, you know, one turret, it's so different from when you see mutas in a player's base. Wraiths have to run from the turret. Wraiths just can't kill buildings that well. And one of the few assets left that Rush had in this game has been completely diminished. He only has 2 Wraiths. This setup here, I know he's not sieged up yet, but basically Rush can't get out. And now JYJ is going to go for it. He scans down here. He knows he has more than enough firepower to gun down these mines before they can do any real harm to him. Maybe not to that tank, but when you're this far ahead, it's pretty doable. We see more shelling over there on that tank. And he's going to unsiege again. I mean, this is just 2 naked tanks. Nothing to defend them. The Goliaths are going to get their day as the first tank falls before anything can even siege up. And there it is. GG. Beautifully done. It's interesting. That drop did so much, but that wasn't even really the main factor in that game. It really did come down to the fact that Rush wasn't able to take real advantage of the Wraiths that he had. And in the end, you could just see the Goliaths and the tanks were too much. I think the push could have gone a little bit better there from Rush. You got to be really careful when you're that behind on tanks in a situation like that, because you will just get overwhelmed. And I think even if he hadn't pushed through and just closed it out like that, I think there's almost no way that you're going to get another base up anytime soon like that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still getting the hang of doing these solo casts by myself, but I'm enjoying doing them. I do plan on having basically a YouTube video out every day, and not just for StarCraft 1, but for other RTS games as well. I do plan on doing possibly some StarCraft 2 content, but especially some Stormgate and Zero Space content when those games get further to their release, or when we can actually start streaming that and doing stuff with that. If you like Terran, this is a Yamato Cannon shirt in Korean. And I've got a lot of other cool shirts if you don't like that one. You can check it out at tastelessthreads.com, where I have a bunch of cool merch that I think, no matter what your taste is, you might enjoy. So please check that out. And again, subscribe to the video, like it, do the bell thing, all that, because this is on YouTube and you have to do that if you want to grow the channel. So thank you again, and have an excellent day. Bye-bye.